Today on the second vlog, we are talking about what we call the latest headline news. Everything that's been happening lately, last week and the past 2 weeks, with the mass shootings that have occurred here in America. That's the topic I'm going to address today. It's going to be tough, but I want you to understand what is linked together with this. So, what is somebody who's talking about domestic violence having to do with these mass shootings? Well, since the year 2000 and a little bit before that, but mostly from the year 2000 and on, we're going to be talking about these mass shootings. There are 10 of them, the most deadly ones that happened in the United States. The first one is the Las Vegas Strip, when it fired off, and what he was doing there, right? He was shooting into the crowd, and it killed 58 people. And what they've come to find out is that that person had a lot of aggression and violence against his past former girlfriends. Interesting. The next is the Pulse nightclub incident that happened in Orlando, Florida. This happened in June of 2016, and 49 people were killed there. That was inflicted because of the person who was doing that also had an impact and a connection with domestic violence. The Virginia Tech University, another connection with domestic violence. Sandy Hook Elementary School, that young man threatened to kill his mom several different times. Police were called, they had records of this, and yet he took out his aggression on children in an innocent elementary school. First Baptist Church in Sutherlands Springs in Texas, this killed 27 people. Again, domestic violence. They had records of this, of his unlikely conduct towards women, to his wife, all of those incidents along that shows the domestic violence there. There was a killing at McDonald's in Yusendero, California in July in 1984, and that happened. He was also a domestic violence perpetrator. And then the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, on, of course, Valentine's Day 2018, where 17 people were killed, also a product of domestic violence and perpetrating violence towards others. Then we have one of the other deadliest happened in Texas at the University of Texas, Austin, in August 1st of 1966, where the man stood at the tower and shot the students, kind of like a sniper incident happened there. All connected to domestic violence. That is something that's very powerful. So when we talk about domestic violence, people think, oh, that's just at home, that really doesn't impact me. I might not know anyone really that is with that. But look as it's bleeding into, and I use that intentionally, upon our society. All violence, whether it's constructed through the home, onto children, it's very difficult to change those cycles. And we have to do what we possibly can. This is where this bigger focus of all the domestic violence is going, and where I hope to bring this mission to light very quickly is about the war that's been happening on children. The majority of these people have grown up in some form of domestic violence, witnessed it themselves, or have some type of traumatic event that occurred in which they stifled their pain and then perpetrated it out as they continued to get older. I have just been through the news. You just type in something to do with domestic violence, and the list is massive that comes up. And one that was really disturbing was a 13-year-old who attacked, actually, a mom. This story is just crazy. He's 13 years old, and he's been bullying this mother's son. And she decided to confront him and say, enough, we're finished with this. And he ended up attacking that mother in such an aggressive way that she suffered concussions, she suffered memory loss. He's 13. What anger and pain is a 13-year-old doing so much to inflict such damage on another person? we really need to be conscious of the war that's happening on children. And I say war intentionally. So, vlog number 2, the latest headlines and news, it is impacting all of us. Now we're getting information from the Dayton shooting. Also somewhere within that, connection with domestic violence. So, please be aware. Please don't put this off. Oh, that's just somebody else's problem. That's just somebody's, campaign or mission in life. Really, this is impacting all of us. So I implore you to not ignore it, but to read up on it. And then when you see people, be kind, offer love, because we are only going to change this neighbor to neighbor. And as neighbor to neighbor, community to community, and then to society, we have to start within our own walls of our family and neighborhood if we're going to be able to make this change. That's vlog number 2 on this series on domestic violence.